Hey guys, Peter here to tell you about the latest from Alestorm, Voyage of the Dead Marauder, on March 22nd on Napalm Records. This EP has 5 tracks, 15 minutes in length, and this is the band's fourth. They are a UK folk pirate metal band. Now before I break down all 5 songs, let me give you guys a quick overview of what to expect. Sound-wise, this feels like a throwback to their earlier days because it's a lot heavier than some of its predecessors and it focuses a lot more on the guitar sound all around. It's a very guitar-driven record, and that doesn't take anything away from the more folkier, from the more party side of the band. Across 5 songs, you're going to have a serious track, you're going to have a more electronic, almost metalcore sounding song in certain aspects. Then you're going to have a more traditional track with lyrical content that perhaps is representative of a part of North America. You're going to have an instrumental interlude, and then you're going to have your prototypical curse-laid track by Alestorm. So 5 different styles, 5 different songs, but all of them representing the overall DNA of the band. So a lot of diversity, but a lot of Alestorm at the same time. Vocally, you also feel like this record has a little bit more heaviness. The use of harsh vocals, it's more consistent as well from first all the way to last, with the exception obviously of Shanty 2, which is an instrumental interlude. So vocally this record is also a little bit heavier than what I was expecting, matching the sound, so it's not something that completely disconnects. There is a connection between the two, and that allows that heaviness to stay consistent across all the parameters, allowing these songs, while being very different, to have some sort of commonality between them, which helps the overall fluidity of these 5 songs, of this 15 minutes of Alestorm. So now that I've given you that overview of what to expect, let's dive deeper into these tracks. The opening track is Voyage of the Dead Marauder featuring Paddy Gurdy, and it's not the first time that you've heard of Paddy Gurdy on an Alestorm song, or that you've heard hurdy-gurdy on an Alestorm song, so there's nothing really new from that standpoint. But this feels like a more serious song. It's a song that has a different atmosphere to it. It still has a lot of folkiness in it, specifically coming out of the hurdy-gurdy, but all around it almost feels more like a symphonic track, and with some duet moments coming through, allowing you to see a different side of Alestorm, perhaps a more serious side of Alestorm, in a song that's extremely well constructed and very well delivered. This was not a track that I was necessarily a fan of the first time that I heard it, because it felt a departure from the more party, jovial side of Alestorm. It felt too serious to me, and it felt like it had too much of a rigid structure in order for me to really appreciate it. The more that I listen to this song, the more that I like it. It's a big sounding track. It has great guitar sound, an outstanding guitar solo with old school elements, bringing in also some of the melodic elements of the track itself, really becoming the cherry on top of the cake, if you will, as far as the guitar sound and the guitar impact is concerned. It's a very complete track where you have those harsh vocals, you have Paddy Gurdy's vocals in the chorus, you obviously have Chris Bow's vocals, his traditional delivery, his traditional style, which, you know, you cannot have Alestorm without that. So it's a very complete track, but it's a very complete track that has a lot of different moving pieces, and because of that, it feels different, it feels new, it feels fresh, but it's one of those that really grew on me, and now it's easily becoming one of my favorite Alestorm songs. After that comes Uzbekistan. Now this is a folkier pirate metal song style, which fits with the DNA of the band obviously perfectly. It has a great sound, it has great vocals, it mixes in the harsh vocals in the pre-chorus, and then allows almost the choir style vocals to come through in the chorus, which makes that chorus a lot more impactful, a lot more hookier, a lot more catchy. I love the fact that it's a track that moves in from this folky, heavy sound into almost an electronic party sound, feeling like it becomes an electric callboy song if electric callboy was to do a pirate track. That's how this song kind of morphs. This is how this song kind of changes, but throughout all of these changes, throughout all of these moves, you still feel the heavy impact of the guitar sound, really connecting the different pieces that make up the DNA of this track. I enjoy this song because it really threw me for a loop. It started off feeling very traditional, but that more electronic with a heavy guitar sound felt a little bit out of the box, but still matching with the fluidity of the track, so it didn't feel disconnected. It just surprised me. So it's a great song from that standpoint because it offers a musical surprise, even though lyrically it's something that you would come to expect from Alestorm. Next we have The Last Saskatchewan Pirate. Now if you're not Canadian, this song is going to fly over your head. You're just not going to get it, at least not lyrically. You're going to get it musically because it's your traditional Alestorm pirate song with a lot of innuendos. This track is built on innuendos and they're all Canadian themed, about Regina, Saskatchewan. You can start to put the picture together. For me, being Canadian, this is the track that impacted me the most. I don't think they can play a Canadian show and not play this song. This is going to be a crowd pleaser regardless if they're playing in Toronto, in Alberta, in Saskatchewan, in Regina. It doesn't really matter. This is a Canadian themed pirate song that uses a lot of, like I said, a lot of innuendos to tell a much different story from the one that appears at first glance. You have to be Canadian to get it. If you're not Canadian, you're not going to really find the jokes funny, or you're not going to find the jokes at all. But being Canadian, I love this song, and I really hope to hear it live. Like I said, it's going to be a crowd pleaser when they're playing in the cold north. After this track comes an instrumental interlude called Sea Shanty 2. It has a very electronic opening, almost matching in certain ways a little bit of the experience that you saw in Uzbekistan, but different, a little bit more 80s style keyboard sound and electronic sound. Then it moves into a more driven perspective, still with the keys, but then it morphs more into a guitar led song. It's a track that feels a little bit of a hybrid. It works well as an interlude for the track that follows, which is Cock. Now, Cock is the shortest track on the record, which perhaps proves the point that size doesn't matter, because it's such a funny song. It's what you would expect from Alestorm. Every album has to have one of these. You almost come to expect that. You come to expect the profanity. You come to expect the jokes. And this song has all of it. It has the shortness and length that we've seen from other songs of this style, of this creativity, if you will, that Alestorm has released. So it has that size factor that allows the song to be impactful. There's not much to say besides the cursing that you want to include in your lyrics. So the song being short plays a role in making the song more playable and making the song more enjoyable and not really overstaying its welcome. It's a great track to finish off this EP because it allows you to feel like their spirit of Alestorm, the spirit that they bring to their records, to their music, of not giving a shit and giving the finger to everybody, is truly well represented on this track. I think this track is definitely giving a finger to somebody, and I think they don't try to hide too much the intentions behind it. They might be hiding who the intended person is, but definitely not the intentions. Great track to finish off this EP. It puts a nice cap on the overall experience of going through these 5 songs and these 15 minutes of new Alestorm music. This is it. Voyage of the Dead Marauder. This EP comes out March 22nd on Napalm Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Hit me up in the comment section, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, guys.